I know that I am so late for these live sessions on a regular basis. I'm supposed to be here by um 11, but I am here and I'm gonna wait for you guys to come on in. I have to go live on Facebook too, so I want you guys to, you know, bear with me and pay attention because this is going to be the type of discussion. Y'all know how I rock. Okay, I'm a little under the weather. My son gave me a little cough. Um, he gave me a little cough, so I'm gonna have to power my way through this as much as I possibly can, and hope that you guys will, just look past my flaws. um, where is everybody? Are y'all coming? Cause I will leave for real. And yes, I'm threatening you. Y'all need to come in here or else I'm going to go. I need to feel appreciated before I start talking. Is that somebody? I need to feel appreciated before I start talking to you guys. So if you don't want to come in, I'm not going to say nothing. All right, you guys. There are a couple of people coming on in, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. You guys, my name is Reese Roberts. This is Entertain the Thought. And I'm wondering what is going on with this. What's wrong with my computer, y'all? It's not doing what I wanted to do. Okay, let's try this again. All right, here we go. My name is Reese Roberts. This podcast is called Entertain the Thought. What we're talking about today is really an epidemic, I believe, in the Black community and really America at large. We are dealing with a reality that is absolutely inverted. And what I can see happening in our true culture is we are attempting to use the age of information, which is the era that we live in right now, or you can call it an eon, which consists of a couple thousand years, roughly. And because we live in this age of information, we're being presented with some very deeply rooted truths that are affecting our lives and are actually affecting the way we see, understand, the way we know reality. Whether that be our personal reality or whether it be the reality of, the general environment around us. And so this is why I want to have this discussion with you, because I know that all of you have encountered a situation where you have a person who is seemingly, willingly ignorant, where you have given this person, or you've witnessed a situation where facts are being given, absolute truths are being spoken, what I like to refer to as an empirical truth. An empirical truth could be spoken, and a person of a certain kind will refuse to acknowledge, accept, or act upon the truths that are being spoken to them in the moment. So let's talk about it. Thank you, Romaine. I appreciate that. I love you back. Let's talk about what that means. Let's talk about the implications of that. Let's talk about why that happens. And let's just make sure you are not that person. Okay? Can we do that? Let's make sure that you are not that guy. The person who can hear something, you can fact check it from top to bottom, A to Z, inside and out, but yet it still doesn't move you, or it still does not resonate with you, or still doesn't cause you to have any response or reaction in your life. You guys, that's problematic. Okay? It's problematic, and I want us to do something about it right now. So the best thing I know to do in order to help the situation is to simply talk about it. I want us to talk in a very candid way. And I like it when you guys interact with me. So tell me how much of this makes sense to you, or how much of it actually resonates in your spirit, so we can draw out more of it. All right. Let's start off with religion. The truths about religion. That's the most apparent truth that all of us are seeking in our society and in this culture. We're looking for religious and spiritual truths for us to begin to shape and mold our lives, shape and mold the direction of our lives and the trajectory of our lives and the people around us. And so when I know, or when I can see that truths are being given, like for example, we are deeply entrenched in a race war. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, DJ Future One. I'm also a singer, by the way. That's why my voice is heavy, like it is. So, what I want us to pay attention to is the religious truths that we're being given in our society, and what are we doing with them? Right now, our culture, we are scrambling in a sense to find out what is real and what is not when it comes to the human spirit, and what happens with the human spirit once we understand where it came from, the purpose of it, what we should be doing with it, how we can use it, how it should benefit our lives. We're sort of scrambling for this information. And there's also very strong truths being exposed about where we are culturally with our enemy, aka our oppressor, aka Caucasians. Around the world, we have been seeing instances where we can clearly see who is the perpetrator on this planet of death, destruction, oppression, and this pillaging of the earth that's going on in our environment. Yet, for some reason, collectively, we have not been able to put that knowledge into motion. Because when you realize that you're under an attack mentally, spiritually, physically, there's something that should be done. Now, if you were physically under attack right now, and you knew who was attacking you, you could see the person, you could feel what they were doing, and you could, clearly assess the situation and tell that this is your clear and present dangerous enemy. How would you react? Wouldn't you protect yourself? Wouldn't you walk away, run away, do something that is going to separate or put distance between you and that enemy, right? That's common sense. All right, now let's look at our culture and let's look at what we're doing as far as our interactions with our clear and present dangerous enemy right now, which would be Caucasians. What are we doing with them? I would say we're doing the exact opposite of running away. We're doing the exact opposite of disassociating ourselves from our enemy. In fact, what we're doing instead is we're becoming even more embedded into their reality. We're becoming even more entrenched in what they're doing to further dominate and oppress around the globe. What do I mean when I'm talking about that? I did an episode about economic oppression and our economic state of affairs in this Black community, or what we call the Black community. And in that, I was talking about the political systems and the way we continue to vote. This is something that I want us to keep fresh in our minds about how we're dealing with our enemy. Because when you vote, essentially what you're doing is you're asking your enemy for a room in his house. When you're voting, what you're essentially doing with your enemy is you're saying, hey, will you accept me? Will you allow me into your environment so that you can continue to oppress me in whatever way you see fit? When I'm voting in your establishment or your institutionalized organization, and I want to become a part of it, I want to vote in it, I want to voice my opinions, I want you to accept me, I want you to accommodate for my needs, I want you to stop acting in such a way that I want you to stop acting in. All of these things, they signify and they indicate that we're not running away from our oppressor. We're not running away from the clear and present danger. Instead, we're running towards it. Instead, we're getting in bed with it. Instead, we're loving it, holding on to it, and asking it for more love and affection, which makes absolutely no sense. And so these things that I see with my mind's eye, to me should be very apparent to the people in my community because I resonate with all of you. I know what we're dealing with in this community. I know who we're dealing with in this community, and I can clearly see the truths about religion and the political system and, just the economic system, all the things that come together, all the systems that come together to give us the reality that we're currently in. So for me, it becomes a bit of a curious moment when I'm like, how do you have people that are willingly ignoring this? The people who go to vote, the people who go to marry Caucasian people, having babies with them, eating with them, befriending them, working for them, really going the whole 9 yards with the Caucasian culture. I can't say I want anybody to hate anybody. Don't get me wrong. I don't want anybody to hate anyone. But what I would like for us to look at is how we're doing these things with our clear and present dangerous enemy without necessarily doing it with ourselves in our own community. Now, this is something that I think really we need to stop for a second, pause, break it down. Because if I can trust my enemy enough that I'm going to vote in their system, and I'm going to allow my children to go to school with them, I'm going to bank with them, I'm going to do business with them, I'm going to work with them, I'm going to share my dreams with them, I'm going to ask them for this acceptance and approval. Why? Even though I know all these things about these people, I know where they come from, I know what their mission on this planet is, I know how destructive they are, I know how deadly they can be, I know how poisonous their mentality can be, I know exactly what they're all about. But yet I'm still going to trust them more than I will trust my own. The people who have supported me, the people who have uplifted me, the people who have nurtured me, taught me how to be who I am, taught me how to love myself, taught me how to be the wearer of this crown. I won't trust them to the point where I will give them my life the same way I will give my enemy my life. I will give my enemy my religion. I'll trust them with that. I'll give them my money. I'll trust them with that. I'll give them my career. I'll trust them with that. I'll give them my education. I'll trust them with that. I'll give them my health and my food, the nutrition in my body. I'll trust them with that. I'll give them all these things repeatedly over and over and over again. I'm giving to my enemy. The essence of my life, I'm giving it to them. But then when you think about it, and I look back over my life, and I recognize where I came from, those are the people I don't trust. Those are the people that when a black person looked like me, coming up here with all of this, coming up here with all of this goodness, they come up to me and say, hey, brother, listen, I got a business that I'm starting. I really need your support. This is what I need you to do. I need this financial investment, this financial backing. You're going to look at them through 10 different layers of scrutiny and criticism before you even give them an ounce of your trust, before you even give them a small piece of your investment, a small piece of your support. You have to send them through hoops, a rigorous testing and trial before you'll say, hey, brother, I simply trust you because you look like me. And I know that you have never been about such atrocities all over this planet. Okay, our people have only been about giving value and substance and knowledge to supplement this planet. We've only been here for the purpose of giving real power to our people. Yet those things go ignored versus the things that we're doing to really invest and tie ourselves into our enemy's plan, even more so than what we're doing for ourselves. This is problematic, you guys, because I'm going to use a very generic example of what bothers me about how we are handling the truth. Okay? what bothers me about how we're handling the truth. We exist in these very tight, very small comfort zones. And these comfort zones are equivalent to the killing, stealing, and destroying of our spirit body, the same way the Caucasian is there to steal, kill, and destroy from the physical body or the physical man. Now we have these ideas that nothing is wrong. We have these ideas that we're safe, and this is why we exist in these comfort zones. But in all truth and reality, we are the furthest away from safety. We are the furthest away from knowledge. We are the furthest away from progress and stability in our physical and spiritual environments because of where we are with how we're dealing with this information. When you get a piece of truth, let's just say the truth is, I'm going to use, like I said, a very practical example. Let's say the truth is that Caucasians have created an environment where food is no longer real. Food has now become toxic, and it purposefully sets out to create sickness and illness in your body so that you can go to support another industry, not the food industry, but now the pharmaceutical, food, and drug industry. So these systems, in truth, have been created to promote sickness and illness and toxicity in your body and in your mind to the point where you eventually become ill and you become a patient or a customer, and then you eventually die after you've been sucked dry of all of the funds, the available resources that you have in your life to take care of yourself. Now, let's understand that as the truth. How many people know that? How many people live in it? How many people suffer from it? And how many people refuse to change it? How many people exist in a comfort zone that has been created by our true, clear, and present dangerous enemy? But yet we have refused to do anything about it. Why are we so comfortable? What are we doing inside of these comfort zones that we cannot or that we refuse to change the things that are currently presenting to us as dangerous? This is a lesson in self-love. Because when you're presented a truth, what happens? Firstly, what I know about the person who understands the truth about the food and drug industry, yet they refuse to take any actions to create a healthier lifestyle for themselves. What that person suffers from is a lack of self-love. What that person what that person suffers from is a lack of, I want to say, personal ambitions to become a whole and complete healthy person. And that's because of a comfort zone. I think the biggest issue is that the person suffers from a certain degree of laziness, where this comfort zone can be so strong over your human psyche that even the truth, which is powerful, the truth has power, even the truth cannot sway you out of that comfort zone. What does it mean to a person when you can hear and know and see all the logic that's necessary for you to understand that you're killing yourself? But yet you're so comfortable in the death and destruction that you killing yourself doesn't bother you anymore. You're dying, but you're unbothered. These are the things that bother me and worry me greatly about society and about my people, because we're so comfortable. We get into this comfort zone where we refuse to acknowledge reality. We don't want to hear that the FDA has approved something to be healthy, when in all reality, all the studies, all the statistics, all the facts, they mount up to say something different. Then let's just say, your favorite food something you've been eating for years. Let's say you've been eating this for years, as long as you can remember. And then you hear something that says it's toxic. Are you going to take yourself out of the comfort zone of consuming this thing, of consuming it, so that you can actually do something to act on the truth that you just learned? Now, that's not just one thing, you guys. When I talk about religion, this is probably the most bothersome area where we do this, where we ignore, we refuse to know reality. Like, for example, the Bible tells you ye are gods. This is something that I like to live by because I recognize it as the truth. And I know that that is reality. Ye are gods. And so when I go and I tell that to other people and I get them to engage with me on a level where we're talking about spirituality and religion, and I tell them, you know that you're a God, right? They look at me like it's blasphemy. They look at me like, why would you say that? Why would you say that? And I'm like, your religion teaches you that. Your religion teaches you that in truth. But yet you don't want to have that responsibility of being a God. So in your comfort zone, religion has groomed you to understand that God is an outside source or entity, and that's your comfort zone. That's where you want to be. You want to be in the comfort of someone else having the power versus you having the power. Why? Because to whom much is given, much is required. And you don't want to have that requirement. And that's the reason why you refuse the knowledge that ye are gods. Romaine, I don't know off the top of my head what scripture that is, but I'll find it for you and I'll send it to you if I can. But this is a dynamic I think is really getting to take control over the masses of the Black community. We have an issue with understanding what reality actually is in truth. And not only once we get that understanding, but also doing something with it. When I learned ye are gods, I didn't just stay comfortable with the sky daddy concept of there being a Jesus or a higher power or the most high that's in God in the heavens and all this other stuff. I did not continue in that frame of mind or that frame of thinking, because when the Bible says ye are gods, that completely took me out of that understanding. It negated it. So if you're going to tell me that I'm God, then you're not going to tell me that Jesus is here to save me. What God do you know that needs saving? Not me. I save myself because you just told me that I am God. You just told me that I have the same power as this Jesus character that you've taught me a lot about. And so then I go a little bit further and I realized that Jesus is not the only person who was able to realize his godlike ability. You have Krishnas, you have Buddhas, you have all these other, Christs. You have all these other Christs. You know, Christ is a title, right? There are Christs all throughout history. Jesus was not the only one. And so when you let me know that a Christ is simply a title that can be assigned to any human on the planet, any human can achieve a Christ-like status. And that's why the Bible tells you ye are gods. Because just like Jesus, the Christ, was able to become a Christ, you can become a Christ. And I talk to you guys about this sometimes. I talk to you guys about this often. But what are you going to do with that? Okay, when I tell you that is what true reality is, that truth cuts you. It takes you out of your comfort zone where you are able to excuse your behavior out to an outside source. You're able to outsource your bad deeds to the devil, and you're able to outsource the creations of your life to a Jesus or a God. Okay, now that's problematic. It's problematic. It sounds good for you to say, oh, Jesus did it for me. Oh, Jesus is Lord and he gave me all my opportunities and all of my great things. Jesus did it for me. Oh my God. It sounds good for you to do that. But what happens is you take the power for you to do it for yourself when you give all the credit to someone else and all the responsibility to someone else for creating the reality that you live in. You are experiencing the reality of your own mind. And so when you say, oh, Jesus did it, or somebody else, the devil did it, you're taking all power out of yourself that was given to you at the time of your inception in your mother's womb. You were given power to be a creator. A creator is your purpose on this planet. And so when you say, oh no, I didn't create that opportunity, Jesus did it. Oh no, I didn't create that negativity, the devil did it. Look at what you're doing to your life by refusing to acknowledge the truth, by refusing to acknowledge the reality that you are actually creating your reality as you make it up in your head. Nobody's responsible for that but you. No one. No God in heaven, no hell or no Satan in hell, or no devil in hell did that to you or for you. It was you. You executed these actions. You came up with these thoughts. You came up with that planning. You came up with that perception. You came up with all of the inner workings in the engineering of your life. You came up with it. You came up with those decisions. There was never a time. Y'all, hold on, wait a minute. I'm sorry, y'all. Joshua Ladette. Hey. Don't play with me. Y'all, don't play like, listen. Hey. Okay, now I'm going to keep talking because I just got a little, I love him. But anyway, y'all, I want us to understand that there is no point in time where you are not responsible for you. Jesus did not give you that job. Okay, you went into the job with a positive attitude. You went into the job with a tight ass resume. You went into the job with a smile on your face, with relevant experience. Okay, those are the things that were put together from the universe in order for you to be able to get this job based on your knowledge and power of your capabilities and your opportunities that you created for yourself. Excuse me. I'm a little under the weather, y'all. Excuse me. But I want us to get back to the point of acknowledging this, okay? Knowing it is one thing, but living it, acknowledging it, and actually taking action on this so that you can better your life. If you're consistently pointing the finger at everyone else and everything else for what has happened to you in your life, and for what will happen to you in your life. If you're sitting back and saying, oh, I'm just going to trust God. I'm just going to trust God for this. Or I'm just going to trust that the universe is going to do it. But yet you have no responsibility for any type of creation in that process. You have no responsibility for what is actually going to happen in that whole execution of your life. You're going to be consistently in a place where someone else is responsible for what it is that's going on in your life. And yes, I will tell you right now that you will have assistance from the powers that be in this universe, okay? And listen, this is exactly correct. The universe, some people will call that Jesus. I call it the universe, will bless you with positive reinforcement or positive help if you're taking action and taking the first steps. And this is what I want you to understand, the validity of that. Because when you are stepping in this universe, what you're doing is you're telling the universe, this is my intention. Okay? And when the universe can see and hear and feel your intentions, it's going to push you along. Whether those be good intentions or bad intentions, whether that be heaven or hell that you're trying to put yourself in, you're going to do it for yourself by giving the universe your intentions. You're going to tell the universe, I'm looking for heaven or I'm looking for hell. And because the universe hears you, because your magnetism in your soul, the magnetism in your heart, understand what I mean when I say the magnetism. Okay. When you say, this is my intention in the universe, aka saying a prayer, aka believing or sowing seeds, when you're giving this intention, telling the universe, all right, look, this is what I want. If you have not done the work to check your intentions and say, listen, this is why I want this. This is what I want to do with this. This is the reason why I'm asking for this. This is the reason why I want to see this in my life. If you're not checking your intentions to find out the root of that thing, where is it coming from? The universe does not care if you did your due diligence. Now, see, most people will say, oh, the devil don't care. But no. It's the universe at large. The absolute power of this universe is impartial. The Bible will tell you that it's no respecter of man, no respecter of the truth. And that means that basically you can accomplish and achieve whatever heaven or hell you want on this earth. And that should be clear based on how we live in. We live in a good hell because of what people on this planet have done with their intentions. Do you think that the Food and Drug Administration has not intentionally poisoned our food? Because it's exactly what they did, by intention. Do you think that people going out here raping and killing and stealing, they doing that by intention? They're doing it on purpose. Do you understand? And so whatever you're doing on purpose is the same exact way. You're not going to be stopped. The Jesus that you're praying to is not going to come down on the cloud and tell you, those are bad intentions. Don't do that. The devil is not going to come from hell and stop you from doing a good deed. Do you understand what I'm telling you? The devil is not going to stop and stick his pitchfork in your ass and tell you don't do that because I'm the devil and I don't want you to do it. Nah, that's not how it works. Your intentions create your heaven and your hell. If you got bad intentions, you're going to be living in hell. If you don't have intentions to do right, if you don't have intentions to lift yourself up, if you don't have intentions to love somebody, to love yourself, that's going to be the hell that you put yourself in, not Satan. If you go out in this world and you say, I'm going to intentionally love myself, I'm going to intentionally love my neighbor, I'm going to intentionally, help the planet, I'm going to intentionally teach somebody, I'm going to intentionally save my money, I'm going to intentionally start this business, I'm going to intentionally be successful, intentionally, I'm going to work for it. Come on, somebody, I need y'all to hear me. You have to know in reality, you are responsible for what you know and also what you do about what you know. When you learn the truth, it will behoove you to walk in that truth. It will behoove you to hear the truth about a thing. You know that that's poison. If I handed you, excuse me, I got to get my throat together. That's right. Absolutely. Joshua, this is absolutely what I'm saying. Listen, if I handed somebody this cup right here and I said, now listen, this is going to get you drunk, but it could also kill you. There's poison in here. And I set this thing down. What I did was I just tempted you. It's going to get you drunk. You're going to have a good time, but it's also poison. Okay. I just tempted you. And so intentionally, you have a decision that you need to make. Are you going to pick this up and find out? If you do, whose fault is it? If you pick it up. Now, I told you what it is. I gave you the truth about the thing. I gave you the truth about it. Now, if you say, well, I'm going to go ahead and just see what it looked like. It can't be too poisonous. Let me just, get a little something out of there. And then you fall over and die. Are you going to blame me? Or are you going to look at yourself and say, damn, I knew the truth. I knew the truth. I chose to act a certain way, regardless of the truth that I knew. Now, see, this is where I'm trying to get us to understand about how we're living in our society, in this culture. Our Caucasian oppressors, they come with a very apparent truth. Okay, this society comes with very apparent truths that we should be living in, that we should be acknowledging, that we should be applying in our lives. But what are we doing with it? When we find out that we live in a toxic society, what are we doing? Are we engaging? Y'all know something. I was going to talk to you today about sharing things. We live in a toxic society. You know that it's toxic. You know the content going around on social media, half of it, most of it, 99% of it is toxic. Well, I can't say 99%. Half of it is toxic. We tend to gravitate towards the things that we should be running away from in truth. Now, all of us are annoyed by the toxicity in each other. Okay? I'm annoyed by your toxic levels. You annoyed by mine. Okay? If I say something that pisses you off, you're going to call me toxic, and that's going to be, we got a problem. But how many of us will look at something that is toxic online, and even though it's entertaining, and even though it's funny, and even though it might be a shame, or it might be sad, or it may be angering, all these negative, low vibrational things, we're not going to say, oh, I'm going to remove this negative content or this toxic content out of circulation, and I'm not going to share it. Instead, we want to participate. We want to intentionally share the shit. We want to intentionally throw even more negativity onto the piling of negativity that we are already swimming around in. Somebody tell me, how does this make sense? The truth of the matter is, we live in a toxic environment. We live in a toxic mental, spiritual, physical environment where we could be walking by some very high level truths where we're going to say, listen, the universe works on a system of reciprocity. This universe works on a system where it gives you whatever you give to it. Okay? Whatever seeds you're planting into the ground, those are going to be the trees that sprout up on your ass. And so if we know that as the truth, what are we doing? Why are we allowing these things to continuously circle around on us? When are we ever going to see negativity for what it is, toxicity for what it is, these Caucasians for what they are, this oppression for what it is, this political system for what it is, the education system for what it is, the food for what it is? See all these things for what it is and act on it. Turn away from it. Refuse to share it. Refuse to participate in it. Refuse to give it your energy. Because when you intentionally press that button, when you intentionally speak those words, when you intentionally sow those goddamn seeds, it's not just your reality that you're shaping and molding and creating. Come on, somebody. You are putting me in that mix with you. When you are sharing these things on the internet, it's my child that I have to protect from it. It's my psyche that I have to block from that stuff. I have to be the one to navigate around this in my society because we are refusing to see these things for what they are. Now, if I say I don't want to see my daughter twerking, and I don't want to see her overly sexualizing her body, I don't want to see her growing up too fast and becoming a sexual object. I know that. I can realize that that's the truth and the reality of who I am, what I want to be, what I want for my family, my daughter. This is how I want reality to shape up for myself. But then I intentionally turn on some Juvenile, back that ass up. I'm twerking. Then I intentionally share all these things on my page, knowing that my daughter follows me. Then I am consciously allowing my daughter, or, I walk in the room, my daughter's watching twerking. I'm consciously not saying anything. I'm like, oh, it's just a little video. She gonna be all right. Somebody please. And these things are happening in our society, in our culture through and through. This is not something that is exclusive or specific to one particular thing. All toxicity in our community is operating this way, where we're saying we want one thing, but then we're participating in another. We want to be free, but we're participating in oppression. We want wholesome lives that are valuable, sustainable, and full of substance. But yet, all we want to do is listen to empty lyrics in our rap music, and all we want to do is go to the club and trick off our money or go to the mall and shop. Where's the substance? You cannot call yourself a person of substance, but yet no parts of your life have substance. No parts of your life have meaning. No parts of your life serve another person. No parts of your life uplift yourself or anybody else. No parts of your life have productivity in it. No parts of your life have anything to do with anyone else but yourself and your empty, guilty pleasures. What are we doing? We have to know the reality, you guys. Act on the reality. You're receiving knowledge. You live in the age of information right now. You live in an influx, a flow of information where nothing should be a mystery to you anymore. Absolutely nothing. The way you believe about your spirit, it should not be a belief. It should be a knowing about who you are and what you are. Because I'm going to tell you like this. Your spirit is not controlled or governed by anyone but you. The only thing that is controlled and governed that you do not have any control over is universal powers. The law of attraction, the law of mentality, the law of vibration, the law of polar opposites. These are natural laws, okay? Alchemy and the powers of alchemy and being able to transmute energy. Those are the things that you do not control. Those are the things that you cannot control. Things like science, the way that the universe interacts with itself. You cannot control that. You can control how you interact with the universe. How are you planting these seeds? What intentions are you throwing out into the universe? What are you attracting back to yourself? What are you manifesting into our environment for everyone else to witness and observe out of your life and your creations, your vibrations? What are you vibrating out into the atmosphere for everyone else to experience? You understand what I'm saying? Those are the things that you can control. That is how your human spirit works. Nobody's controlling you. Nobody's governing you. Nobody's influencing you. Well, I shouldn't say nobody's influencing you. That's a huge mistake. You're being influenced. You're definitely being influenced, but no one is controlling you. You are being influenced, but that's the point of what I'm trying to say is that even though you're being influenced, you still have control. You still have the intention, the ability to create and execute your intentions in this universe. And if you intend to be good, then you will be good. If you intend to live in heaven, then you will be in heaven. If you intend to grow, then you will grow. If you intend to teach, then you will teach. If you intend to have success, then you will have success. It's your intentions that create your reality. It's your law of attraction. It's how you are magnetizing from here. Listen, your heart. Do you know that your heart is equipped with a strong electromagnetic field? A strong electromagnetic force. That what it does is when you think of your intentions, when your intentions raise up in your mind, they raise up also in your heart. When you start to create desire and longing and wanting for something, that creates something which you call a magnetic pull coming from your heart. And the universe hears that. That is the vibration that the universe is responding to. It's the magnetic pull coming from your heart. When you say, this is what I want. This is what I need. This is what I'm working for. This is what I'm planting seeds for. This is how I intend to create my reality. This is the only thing that you're going to do in this reality that's going to serve you. If you think somebody else's intentions are more important or higher for your life than your intentions are for your own life, you will not experience happiness, because what you're doing is you're failing to love yourself. If you don't think that your own intentions are the thing that is creating your reality, you will live in a state of stagnation. You will exist in a state of stagnation where you cannot produce anything that you actually want, because everything you think you want, it is coming from somebody else. You think Jesus wants this for you. You think Jesus told you to do that. You think Jesus said that this was for you. I hear a lot of people sometimes will say, I didn't choose this for myself. I was listening to Jesus. This was Jesus telling me to do this. Jesus told me to go here. Jesus told me to do this. I'm going to tell you a quick story and I'm going to get back to my point. A woman going to my grandmother's church. This is when my grandmother was still living back in the day. She had a friend that went to New Birth Missionary Baptist Church. And y'all don't laugh at me, but I used to go there too. I used to be up under Pastor Eddie L. Longstroke. I ain't gonna talk about that man. But I was a part of that church congregation for some part of my life. And so my grandmother told me that one of her friends was a part of an altar call. Eddie Long, or one of his guest speakers, came to the church and said, if you want to have financial success, you Jesus told me to get you to come to this altar right now and sow the biggest seed that you can sow on this altar right now. Okay. I want you to come down here right now, throw it all right here, and you're going to receive this, this blessing, this breakthrough. This old lady on a fixed income, y'all, goes and throws her money on this altar for the altar call, thinking that it's guaranteed now because Jesus done told this man that this is how this thing gonna work out for her. She goes and throws the money down on the altar, and this was her rent money. No, it was her car payment. Now, y'all should already know what happened. The woman's car got repossessed. Her car got repossessed. Ain't no money come back to her. It wasn't no financial breakthroughs. It wasn't the church didn't care. I'm pretty sure she probably should have went to the church and told them, hey, listen, do y'all do refunds on them altar calls? Because these people got the tow truck. These people got the tow truck outside. And I ain't got my breakthrough yet. I need that money back. I need it back. Man, New Birth probably wouldn't even answer the phone. New Birth probably didn't even answer the phone. I'm gonna tell you another instance when New Birth, got it wrong. My grandmother was on her sick bed with cancer. My grandmother had been a tithing member, and trust me, my grandmother was not broke. A faithful tithing member to that church. She got sick and called them to say, can you come and pray by my bedside? They didn't even have a prayer for my grandmother. They never came. Do you hear me? They never showed up. I'm going to pause right there because I want you to think about that. They never came. This is what we're talking about when we talk about the truth about things. Think about your church institution. How much money? Now, I'm going to tell you, I would be head and shoulders above where I'm at right now if my grandmother had been sowing that money into me. I'm a businesswoman. I have much potential, much talent, many ideas that could be developed. If my grandmother had put that money aside in a fund for her grandchildren, where would I be? Where would I be? In me making my intentional attempt to change the world. My grandmother's money could have been put to much better use if she had sown it into me, not into that church. Not into that church. But this is what I'm trying to tell you. If my grandmother had known the reality about that church, if she had acknowledged the reality about that church, because even though sometimes the knowledge doesn't come to you very easy, and I'm going to tell you that, you have to seek after knowledge. Knowledge about deep things about life and the universe is not going to come to you just because you want to know. You have to seek after it, find it, go look for it, ask the questions, research, talk to people, find the resources for the knowledge that you're seeking after, because it does not come easily. But if my grandmother had been doing some deep meditations and observing her environment, observing that church, she would have known the truth about it. If she would have been seeking the truth about her church, she would have known the truth about it. Because if you look around New Birth, I live 10 minutes from New Birth, 10, 15 minutes from New Birth. Looking around that area, nothing has changed. Nothing is different about New Birth. I don't think anything major is different about the members. They probably have programs and they probably do good deeds from time to time. But considering the levels of income that these people take in every week from believers, where could we be? What kind of central funding could be established for a community? What if New Birth didn't have to keep up such fancy facilities, a mega church, and they're, lots and their ATMs and their on the grounds. They have ATMs inside of the church. Lord. What if my grandmother had looked around and said, these people really ain't doing that much with my money. Let me see what my grandbaby can do with it. I might have been able to make something twerk. I might have been able to make something shake. But this is what I mean by us seeking after these realities and knowing, not believing. When the Bible tells you lean not on your own understanding, do you not take that as an insult? I do. When you tell me lean not on my own understanding, what do you think I have understanding for? Why would I not lean on it? Why would I not want to understand the things that I can understand? There are times where you might ask a Christian a question, and they'll say, "Oh, baby, we're not supposed to understand that." Oh, baby, don't question God. That's an insult. First of all, my head kind of big. I'm a highly intelligent person. Highly intelligent. There are many things that I don't understand, but there are many things that I do. And when I'm asking you a question, because I'm trying to fit something in this big ass head of mine, don't you tell me not to ask the question because I'm not supposed to understand it. Who the hell are you talking to? I am supposed to understand it, or else I wouldn't be asking. The Bible tells you to seek after the knowledge. Why would I seek after knowledge and then you turn around and tell me I'm not supposed to know? Flawed. Okay, this is a flawed theory. Lean not on your own understanding. Says who? Why do I have understanding if I can't lean on it, if I can't use it, if I can't walk with it in my life? Why would I have understanding? Why would I be given cognition, the ability to cognitively comprehend things, cognitively process things, cognitively exist in this world, interacting with people on a cognitive level? Cognition is a human function, a basic human function. We have to realize what to do with our knowledge. You walk with it. You don't just hear it and then say, "Oh, okay. Oh, that's great." And then you go right back to believing something. You don't believe anymore. Y'all, wash your hands of belief. Wash your hands of belief. The only thing that I'm going to suggest that you believe in is the universal powers that exist on this planet that have to do with your physical body. Okay? The physical universe has what you would call natural science or physical science. Things like chemistry or alchemy. Things like gravitational pull. Things like, or some people debate gravitational pull. Things like relativity. Things like mass, matter, vibration, and all these other things. Magnetism and all these other things. Believe in how that stuff, believe in how that stuff works. Because those are the things you can't control. So you have to believe in that it works. You have to believe that the universe actually works on the law of attraction. Because you can't control the law of attraction. There's nothing you can do. If you have negative energy, there's nothing that you can do about the fact that the universe is about to spit negative energy back at your ass. You can believe that. You can know that. You can rest assured there's nothing you can do about that. You can rest assured that regardless of why this happens, whether it's gravitational pull or whatever else of the density of this thing, some people will argue that this is going to fall because it's being pulled by gravity. Other people will argue that it's going to fall because it's denser than the air. Okay, whatever you want to call it, whether it's density or whether it's gravity, you know that this motherfucker is getting ready to fall when I drop it. You can know and believe and trust in that because this is the way the universe works. You can't do nothing about it. You cannot do anything about it. For example, universal laws, the way our human anatomy is designed is we're on a system. It's called a chakra system. This is an energetic system of powerhouses that exist in your body in different locations, all on a line of your power grid, which is your spine. Your brain and your spine are the source of your power grid for your body. It keeps all of your bodily functions going. It also has to do with your spirit body. It empowers your spirit body. If you don't know anything about your chakra systems and the energy centers that exist, your root chakra, the sacral chakra, the solar plexus, the heart chakra, the throat, the crown. Okay. These are your systems. When you consider the fact that these electrical energetic centers, I'm going to call them powerhouses, okay? These are little energy centers in your body. When you consider the fact that that is the human nature of every single person on the planet Earth. I'm about to get a little deeper with y'all, okay? Because this is getting ready to go a little tangent. There are some people who don't have the connection, the full connection through these power centers. They're called Caucasians. Those people do not have the same chakra alignment ability that we have as melanated people. I'm telling you that as a scientific fact. If you want to argue it, research it, find it for yourself, you can seek after that knowledge. But the simple fact that people with melanin, any melanated culture, which exists all over the world, we are all equipped with energy centers in our bodies that work in the exact same way. It's called emotions. Emotions. Okay? Now, knowing that this is a centralized system, this is what you can consider God. It's one system, one source of power. It is empowered by your physical anatomy, which is, like I said, your brain and your spinal cord. Everything that is connected in your body is connected by electricity. And that electricity comes from a wireless system, the universe. Do you understand? These things are not hard to comprehend in concept, okay? But when you understand that you have a power source in your body that really is purposed for keeping your chakra system in alignment so that you can be ascended into heaven. Come on, somebody. This is what God is. It is your ability to use your physical anatomy, your physical environment, your physical being to connect to your spirit. The energy in your body that determines your emotional intelligence, your emotional stability. It's your energy. It's your frequency. Thank you. Thank you. It's your energy, your frequency. These things are entangled with one another. They are intertwined. That is the reason why when your spirit or your chakra system, when that falls into harmony with your body and you're able to align yourself, you reach levels of spiritual ascension because it's a dual relationship. The Bible talks about it when it says that Christ married the church. When your spirit has been fully integrated into your physical body and you have learned how to master your godlike ability, this is what ascension is. This is what heaven is. When you have mastered yourself, your emotional intelligence, these energy centers, you've mastered your own energy by way of your mastering your physical body, by way of learning your physical body, loving your physical body, okay, growing in your physical body. Your emotional intelligence will ascend you into a state which we would refer to as heaven. You understand? And I want us to understand that there is no outside control over that. There is no outside force that is either pushing you to that or keeping you away from it. Y'all, I'm going to have to do a part 2 to this because I feel like I made my point, but my time is winding down. If you love me, go to ReeseRoberts.com. And I want you to follow the social media links to my podcast. You'll see links for Facebook, SoundCloud, and you'll see a podcast page. ReeseRoberts.com is where you need to be. Subscribe, follow, and y'all reach out and holla.